Hi. We're doing biosensing contact lenses. I'm James.
Cassandra.
Chris. And Alan.
And we're going to give you that brief introduction, like what our topic is, compare our motivation for doing our topic, comparison, doing the measuring, the sensor, signal processing, and output display, also FDA classification and conclusions. So basically what we're doing is a biosensing contact lens. It has an electrical circuit in the lens, which also has a radio emission that tells you how much glucose level is in the tears in your eye, and also can be used as a potential replacement for the finger pricking ones, like glucose meters. And our motivation for doing this is that in 2011, they did a survey for diabetes, and 18.8 million people have diabetes, were diagnosed with diabetes. And also 1 out of every 400 children or adolescents have diabetes. And it can cause problems like blindness, amputations, heart disease, or stroke, and many other things. And also, the current ones are painful, they're invasive because you need to prick the fingers, and you also need to sterilize them in order to use the needles. And why we want to use contact lenses are because over 120 million people already wear contact lenses, so it's not that big of a deal. And also that it's been studied for 20 years, so it's been safe. Yeah.
So our glucose sensing contacts are affordable, convenient, non-invasive. They're a good alternative, and they can also monitor levels continuously throughout the day. And the disadvantages are it's a little harder to detect glucose concentration in your tears, which is a lot less than in your blood, and you need more sensitive probes for that.
Okay, so another mechanism that people use is from Johnson & Johnson, the Gluco Watch. So basically it's a watch that can continuously monitor the glucose in your body, but the only reason why this is like a main disadvantage is because over 50% of people have had their skin irritated by this mechanism, and it also costs $50,000 per year, which is drastically different from the glucose meter.
And the insulin pump, basically put it on the side of your head, and then you have to implant the pump itself in order to regulate the insulin. And its advantages are that it's flexible. You can eat anytime during day and night, and your insulin will still be regulated. And also it allows for you to exercise a lot because you don't need to worry about having a large amount of carbohydrates. But disadvantages are that you need to it can cause you to stay at the hospital for a full day to get training for it, and it's invasive because you have to actually implant it in your body, and it may cause discomfort as well.
So one of the most known ones would be the glucose meter, and it's actually very cheap compared to the other ones, only $2,000 a year for these. The main advantages are that it's portable, and it's a very short test, so it's not continuous. You just got to do it about 8 times a day. And although it's considered convenient compared to the rest, because there's no implantation or anything, it still requires a minor finger prick. The downside to this is that it's a loss of accuracy, and there have been known to be false positives for hyperglycemia. And also the small amount of pain, which isn't a big deal or a matter of inconvenience for adults, but for children, they have been known to respond negatively to it, and it's a bigger deal for them.
Okay, so here are a bunch of, examples of these, and basically you can just look for yourself. And then, so basically, why do we use tears? Well, basically, it is the most non-invasive way to acquire any data from the body, and basically you can monitor and you can see that the tear concentrations sort of reflect the same amount of ranges as regular blood. So you can basically use a contact lens to monitor not only your glucose, but you can also do it for cholesterol or any other monitoring way that you want to monitor the body. So as you can see, pricking of the finger is pretty inconvenient for diabetics, and basically our model is good for type 1 diabetes.
Okay, so for measuring blood glucose at a timer continuously, as of 2007, there was a publication stating that there is no internationally recognized gold standard. And the CDC has also tried to issue one and stated how there is a very large need for one, so that way there's a nice, every device can be calibrated to a set range, so they can be easily used and interchanged. And their proposed method for gold standard would be the isotope dilution gas chromatography mass spectrometry, or a long word. And it's where you get a sample from the person and you accurately dilute it with an isotope of glucose. And then from there they can more accurately get a range that would work, and they can make other devices and calibrate those for this one. And those other devices would be the set ranges that every other device would work on based on its principles.
Alright, so it works using boronic acid containing probes. These are fluorescent sensors, ortho, meta, para, that thing. And then if you introduce glucose, you have a fluorescent on state beforehand and then a fluorescent off state. It changes the geometry from sp2 trigonal planar to sp3 tetrahedral, and it is a Lewis acid, so it accepts electrons, and that's the boron becoming negative. And that's boronic acid, and this is the fluorescent graph showing how fluorescent intensity decreases with increasing glucose, so this could be a sensing mechanism to detect a change in glucose concentrations in your lenses. You could also introduce sensor spots on the surface of the lenses that can, like Alan said before, measure chloride or oxygen concentration.
So for signal processing, it's very similar to, it uses digital processing. And so all they have to do is program the algorithm into the software so that it takes the signal in. In our case, it would be, it tends to be some sort of wavelength of the light coming out of the lens. And then it uses the algorithm to use that wavelength to determine the glucose concentration. And there's several different ways they use the wavelength to as a measurement for glucose concentration.
This is the output display types. Colorless lenses and colored lenses are used. If they're colorless, you need to have an excitation wavelength shine at the lens, and then you retrieve an emission wavelength, which gives you the fluorescence. You can also start developing an iPhone app that can shine your camera on your lens and can compare between different colors and output your value right there on the screen. And you can also see your lens if it changes color and compare with a pre-calibrated strip that they give you, saying normal levels, high levels. And it's good for children because their parents can look at it and see, oh, their glucose is too high. And other functions, using functional contact lenses to display different things such as gaming, virtual reality, augmented reality, etc. You can have your contact lens communicate with a cell phone tower, long-range communication, and tell you what's going on, what you need to see, your output display on your belt unit.
Alright, so our device is a class 2 device, which is a little bit higher class than the class 1 device, and this is comparable to the contact lens, basically.
So just to summarize, our measurement would be the glucose levels and concentrations. The sensor, although it varies, for the most part you would have fluorescent sensors, and you would rely upon an algorithm for digital processing, and it would be displayed on a device or some sort of spectrometer in some cases.
And also, the only disadvantage to having colorless lenses is that you need that device to give you an excitation wavelength and emission wavelength to see it. So color would be a better option.
We have some time for questions.
You guys said that when you prick your finger and measure with the glucose meter, you said there's a lot of false positives in hypoglycemia.
There are ideas that you can get false positives with it, so it's not like 100% accurate.
Why is it hyper?
It's because sometimes you have sugar that's left over on your finger. And by the way, that glucose watch you guys mentioned, that stuff is painful. I was in a trial for that, and it itched so much it left scabs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did you guys say if they could be prescription
Or no?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah,
You can get
because
prescription
yeah,
for.
because most people who have diabetes actually use contacts
Yeah.
anyways. So I mean, obviously there's some people that don't, but you can use it for vision correction as well. So it's like 2 for 1, you know.
We have to use prescription. You can't buy contacts off the counter. Yeah, that's actually illegal.
I think you can give contacts that don't even have a prescription.
Yeah, like color.
Yeah.
Yeah, like color.
Yeah, but you still need prescription for that.
No, yeah, but he means like prescription.
Yeah, I mean like correction for vision.
Correction, yeah.
For the pieces that are implanted in the contact lens, I guess if it moves, does it really block out their vision that much, or are they really small?
No, they actually.
Color.
Okay, so for the ones that there are ones that have embedded circuits in them, but we've pretty much focused on the ones that are just fluorescent sensors. So those had to have been adjusted by people that are researching it in pKa and pH. So they noticed that with a higher pKa, it didn't work with the lens and the optical correction. So with when they lowered the pKa, the actual hydrogel was pretty good. So
Yeah.
it didn't interrupt with any vision problems.
And the pieces are really, really small because like the semiconductor industry like makes them like really small. So like they don't really like block that much. And this thing only functions on 3 milliwatts of power. So you don't even like really need a battery.
Any other questions?
Jason.
How much of the lens is colored? Is it like a part of it, or like entire lens?
It's like a color contact, pretty much.
Like basically just a virus.
But like it stops up, like so, or do you have a?
No, you can see through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
It doesn't disrupt.
natural contacts are like colored a little bit blue, so in case you drop it on the ground, it can like pick it up.
Okay, they want to go. So.
Okay.